Don't worry if you're studying for the SAT last minute, because after you watch this video, you'll understand that you can use Desmos for literally every single question on the math modules. Module 1, Module 2, every single question, okay? So if you just follow along and you watch the video, you're going to understand how easy the SAT is, okay? Alright, we're going to get started with Module 1 of math, okay? So now, let's read the question. Bird is flying 16 miles per hour or whatever, 4 seconds. So what we're going to do, always maximize Desmos. 16 times 4 is 64. Cool. Now, it's asking for slope of 4, and it passes through the point 0, 6. So let's go this. So 0, 6, and then you know the slope is the rise over the run. So that means it rises 4, and then it goes 1. So now what we can do is we can use linear regression. 4x plus 6. So a lot of people don't know what that little button means, but now you know. Just click this button, okay? 4x plus 6. Okay, so now that we know that the equation is 4x plus 6, that means the answer is D. Next question. So now it's going to ask you, how do you do this huge thing in Desmos? So it's asking you which one is equivalent. Which expression is equivalent to this huge, ugly number? So first, what we're going to do is we're just going to do 5x to the 5 plus minus 6x to the 4 plus 8x to the 3. So let's see. When it's equivalent, it's going to have the exact same slope and everything. So it's going to look like a little... Okay, so let's see. Which one is right? Let's try x to the 4, 5x minus 6. Oh, that is so wrong. You see how it kind of matches, and then over here, nowhere near matches. So let's try the next option. X to the 3, 5x squared minus 6x plus 8. Does that match? Perfect match, right? Right. Yeah, perfect match. So that has to be B. Okay? Next question. So it's basically saying there's 1,440 total minutes of daylight, and it's saying X is the number of minutes of non-daylight, and then Y is the number of minutes of daylight. So it's saying X plus Y equals 1,440, and if Y is 670, then what's X? So let's zoom out. You know what? Let me teach you guys a trick. Instead of zooming out like an idiot, why don't you just go like this? So we can do the missing number. We can make it M. M for missing, because we don't know it, you know. What you can do is just do this, and it gives you the answer, 770. This is an idiotic way to use regression, but now I don't have to zoom out and go like this, you know. So the answer is 770. Remember this. It can save your life. Yo, I'm going to call out... Actually, no. Okay, chill. Okay, now, read the question, Scott. 20 out of 40. Okay, no, he says 16 out of 20 people enrolled in the courses. So now he wants to make a generalization. So Michael, how do you use Desmos for this statistics question? That's a great question. So he interviewed 16 out of 20 people. There were 20 people, and 16 of them said three classes, okay? So that we can use the tilde, and we can do another regression. So now we want to find, hey, how much of this applies to the total amount of people? So I can go T over 400, and the answer is 320. So 16 is to 20 as T is to 400. So it's 320, you see? So that's another way you can use regression. Very, very easy way to use regression. In fact, I've only ever told one person how to do that. Yo, did I just ungatekeep the method or what? Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's pretty easy. So now, for the next question, of course, you could just divide both sides by 7, but why use brain when you can use Desmos? What? So for this one, we're just going to see which one gives us the same line. Is it 2x minus 3 equals 9? Oh, give me the same line. Perfect line. Well, let me just show you what would happen if it was wrong. Equals 56. Oh, where's the line at, boy? Completely, that line is not matching at all, so it has to be A. Next. Oh, this question. Guys, I'm about to ungatekeep this is the... Guys, I know it looks easy, but okay, watch. So first, what you're going to do, you're just going to type out the equation as is. And you're probably wondering, Oh my goodness, there's so many constants. Wait a second. It doesn't say constants, it says positive numbers. Aha. So what you can do is you can exploit the fact that it only says positive numbers and you can just put random numbers. So I can make C1, P1, and K1, okay? So now you're probably like, yo, what did you just do? Like, that basically did nothing. So the next step in becoming Desmos' academic weapon is to just completely subtract everything. You don't want to see the equal sign. So how do you remove this equal sign? So what I would do is I would isolate everything. I would just add 7 on both sides. This equal sign is making your life very, very hard. And then I will subtract minus C. And then now you're like, yo, what good did that do? Like, be honest. So now what you can do is, as you can see, it gives you an answer, right? So let's just do the same for all these other answers. Let's do 25p plus k plus 7. And now let's do minus c, 32 and 32. So that's the right answer. You see what I mean? By exploiting the fact that these numbers can be anything, you see how they're always the right answer. So let's just see what would happen if you put in the wrong answer. 25p plus k minus 7 minus c. Oh, that's the wrong answer. What about 7, 25p plus k? 182, also the wrong answer. So you see how these two match up? As long as there's no equal sign, you're chilling, okay? Next question. Oh, did I even select? Okay, did I even select the answer? I think it's A. Yeah. Okay, next question. So this question is basically saying, hey, if there's 2,000 animals at a zoo, and each year it increases by 3%, which one is a function? So the function is just a fancy way of saying like a, like how do you model it? Like an equation, basically. So what you need to understand for this one is that increasing by 3% is not the same as 3% of. So let's just do an example real quick. 3% of 2,000 is 60, but 3% increase would be doing 2,000 plus 3% of 2,000, which would be 2,060. You see how there's a huge difference there? So now that we know this is how we express increase in 3% increase. So which one of these functions will give us the same answer? So let's try. F of x equals 2,000. I know this is p, but I can't care less, bro. So what's f of 1? 6,000. Does 6,000 equal 2,060? I'm afraid not. What about 1.97? Nope. Completely wrong. And now let's try 1.03, 2060, 2060. Bang! Power! Guys, drop a comment if you know who Jeremy Fragrance is. Next question. So this one, guys, why does College Board keep making me do the line test? It's low-key, like, way too easy. So we're gonna do this. We're just gonna type out exactly what we see. Exactly what we see. So which one of these interesting looking expressions will give us the same line? Is it A? Please be A. I don't want to write out all these. I don't know the answer, by the way. No, it's not A, bro. Are you serious? Just kidding. It's okay. 96. Is this? Oh my gosh. Yes. You see how it lines up perfectly? It lines like, watch. Hi. Now you see me? No, you don't. So it has to be B. Oh, and you're probably wondering, how do I delete all? You just click the setting and you click delete all. Okay. Next. Is this a physics question? Oh my gosh. Ping pong physics. We're back. We're back doing physics in the SAT. Okay. Anyway, let's just do it. Okay. So first, I don't like how it gives you H and T. Me personally, I would just use Y and X. You know, whatever floats your boat. 9x plus 18. So what this basically is, it's just a graph of the egg. So he throws the egg all the way up, and then the gravity carries it down and it splashes down. So the question is saying, what is the height from which the egg was thrown? Now, if you've never taken AP Physics, this might be the hardest question of your life. But if you're me, and former physics guy, you can just see that the x-axis is time, and you can't have negative time. So when x is 0, it's going to be 18. So the answer is 18, which basically means that boy was 18 feet off the ground when he threw the egg. Okay? And you're probably like, hey, isn't it 0? Isn't it 0? But then you would be in the negatives for time. Isn't it 13? Nope. Then you'd have negative time. Okay. Next. Oh, this one is so... Oh, guys. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, guys? 4 square root 2x equals 16. And our answer is... you see how the equal sign always makes our life so difficult? Yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to want to remove the equal sign. So you're going to do minus 16 on both sides. And then now you remove the equal sign, and now, boom, it gives us a nice little point. That is our answer. So it's going to be 8, 0. Oh, whoa. It's asking for 6x. I almost got that one wrong. So you do 6 times 8, which is 48. Okay, next question. So this one, it says it's a linear equation. Every time you increase x by 1, value of y increases by 8. So, oh, and it gives us a value. So let's just make a table here. So the way you add a table is you write table. So when x is 2, y is 18. And then, how do we make that little regression symbol here? Well, we need one more data point. And how do we get one more data point? It says when you increase x by 1, so let's increase x by 1. So when you make 2 into 3, the value of y increases by 8. So let's increase 18 by 8. So that's 26. And now, boom, the regression makes our life so much easier. You click the button, and then it now gives us the answer, which is 8x plus 2, which is C. Fucking. Next question. So this one, immediately, I already know it's no solution because you can never, if you want to find x, you have to take the root of a negative number. But that's not the purpose of the video. You have to be like, let me just Desmos everything. So as you can see, x squared equals 841. It has solutions, right? Because you have the red lines. But this one is negative. And as you can see, the line disappears. So that means there's no solution, which means there's 0 solutions, okay? Okay. Okay, for this one, it's asking for the range. So the range is gonna be the highest number of books minus the lowest number of books. So the range from this one is 5 minus 0, which is 5. So class A has range of 5. Also, you don't need to write it like that. That's kind of dumb. But class B, what's its range? It's going to be 10 minus 1. So its class B has a range of 9. So now it's asking for the positive difference. Low key, bro, there's no need to be doing all that, bro. Positive difference is just like absolute value. So it could be 5 minus 9, and the answer is 4. So the range is 4. Okay? Next. Okay. This one is a geometry question, and you might be thinking, yo, you're cooked, bro. How do you use Desmos for geometry? So close your eyes. Envision yourself a square, okay? And then now, make the square side length 6 meters, okay? So now what's the area of a square? It's 36, good. So now it's asking for the volume. So a volume is a square, but it's 3D, and now it's a cube. So now, the volume of a cube is equal to the area times the height. And we know the area is 36. So now we're going to set up another regression. So if you know the volume is 2,880 and you know the area is 36, what would you do if you're in my situation? Me personally, I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay. So the answer is you do 36 times the height regression, 2,880, and now it gives you the height, which is 80. Boom. 5th time using, like 6th or 7th time using regression, bro. Desmos is so useful. So now it's saying which one. Okay, wait, what is it even asking? Oh, it's saying like, what's the equation? Okay, so y equals a b to the x. So we're kind of on to nothing here, but it's saying b can be, let's just write 0.83, and then it says a is a positive constant, so I can just make it 1. So does this look like that? Low key? No, it doesn't really look like that. Okay, let's try 1.83. Okay, that looks like that a lot less. So let's try 18.36. Okay, that looks like that a lot more or less. Okay, I think I already know the answer. I was just messing with you guys. Answer's A. Because it goes down. So that's our answer. Next. So now the answer, it's asking for cosine x. So cosine, SOHCAHTOA, ka, adjacent over hypotenuse. So the adjacent is 11 over 28. So that means our answer is 0.3928. What? Doesn't let me type more digits? Are you serious? 0.3928? Okay, cool. Next. Also, I'm not going to get marked down, right? Yes, College Board's smart. They're not going to mark me down for not rounding. Next question. X plus 2, x minus 5, x plus 9. So what I'm doing is I'm just writing it down. Oh, you see how the equal sign made my life hard? I'm just going to remove the equal sign. Buddy really thought I was going to put the equal sign on the SAT. I'm just instant replay. You see how it doesn't have like that nice little circle I can click? Okay, anyway, it's asking for the positive solution. So the solution is just another way to say, when does it hit the x-axis? So this one hits the x-axis at -9. Is -9 positive? No. Is -2 positive? No. Is 5 positive? Yes, so it's 5. Boom, there's our answer. Oh my gosh, bro. Okay, I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, Michael, you're cooked. How do you use Desmos for this stupid question? So what I want you to know is, first of all, these triangles are similar. How do I know these triangles are similar? Well, first of all, they have one angle that's the same. They have two angles that are the same because they're vertical angles. You know, if you don't know what that is, or go chem tutor. And as you know, if two triangles have 3 of the exact same angles, then they're similar. So we know that 2 of the angles are similar. And if 2 of the angles are exactly the same, that means the third angle has to be exactly the same, because all triangles must add up to 180. So that means the triangle is similar. Okay, enough yip yap. Okay, now that we know they're similar, what does that even mean for us? So first, let's make some things clear. So this angle A, it opens up to XQ. This angle A, however, opens up to QZ. So let's just write something. XQ is similar to QZ. Okay, I don't know why there's a regression. I don't want that. Okay, I'll just write this. XQ is similar to QZ. Also, I don't know if that's the symbol. Okay, it doesn't matter. What else? We know that these two are exactly the same. So now we know WX is similar to YZ. What's our next thing? We know that this last one, WQ, because this angle opens up to this line, and this angle opens up to this line. So that's YQ. Okay, so now you're like, bro, you're on to absolutely nothing. Okay, which low-key, you're right. So it gives us the values, right? So 63 is YQ, so 63. WQ is 70. WX is 60. And XQ is 120. So now what can we do? It's asking for YZ, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to say 63 is to 70 as YZ, I'm just going to call it Z, is to 60. So what this is doing here, it's doing another regression, right? And it's basically saying, hey, these two are similar, okay? So now you're just going to divide on both sides, and then what's Z? And it's going to give you 54, and that's our answer, okay? Next. Okay, okay, we're just going to copy down the question. X plus 14, and then T minus X. T is a constant. Oh, I know some of you guys, that's like a trigger word. You know, you just get annoyed when you see that. So don't fear. It passes through 24, 0. Let's label that Tyrone. So we know it passes through Tyrone. So now let's add the slider. So So when does it touch? When does it touch? Does it touch? Does it touch? Does it touch? Stop! Go back. It touches at 24. So it touches when t is equal to 24. So now it's asking what's the value of g of 0? G of 0 is 336. So that is our answer. You see? But if we didn't make it touch, then it would be completely wrong. 18.2 is not the answer, so it has to be 24. Okay? Okay. Next. Oh, dude, I just love percent questions. You know why? Because you can use Desmos. Tutorial time. Okay, so first of all, let's just assign a couple of variables. So it's saying number of zebras in 2018 was blah, blah, blah. So let's just write 2018 zebras is equal to A, okay? And then it's saying population of zebras in 2014. So we're going to write 2014 zebras is equal to B, okay? Now, let's set up a system of equations using using regression. So we're going to do the two brackets, and then we're going to write tilde, and then another two brackets. So what it's saying, basically, if you were paying attention, it means that whatever's in here is equal to the stuff in here. So let's go by this one by one. So it's saying 2018 zebras, which is A, is, so anytime you see is, that means equal sign. So equal sign, so we go on this side. 1.27 times the number of zebras in 2014. And like we said, 2014 zebras is B. So it's 1.27B. What's the other? So I said system, so there has to be more than one equation. So what's the other equation? It's going to be B is P% of the number of zebras in 2018. So we're going to do B is equal to P% of A. Okay? So what exactly did I do here? What I basically said, I said A is equal to 1.27B, and I said B is equal to P% of A. And how does it know that? Because I added the commas, okay? Never forget the commas. So now it's asking for the value of P. So as you can see, P is 78.7, and it's asking for it to the whole number, so it's 79. Okay? That's our answer. Last question. This one's low-key the most annoying one, because we have to check which one translates it down 6 units. So this is our nice little boy right here. What's the midpoint? I don't know. Okay. Don't need to worry about that. So which one translates it down 6 units? So let's try A. Squared plus y plus 6 squared equals 36. I'm just gonna... Does this look like it transferred down 6 units? Yes. Does it look like it doubled the radius? Yes. But how do we prove this? Let's try proving that the radius was doubled. Actually, let's just try this option. Number B. 2x plus 2 squared plus 2 y plus 6 squared equals 9. Does this look like the radius was squared? Definitely not. So it definitely can't be this one. Strike through. And let's try this one. X plus 2 squared plus y minus 6 squared equals 36. Does that look like it went down 6 units? Definitely not. It looks like it went up 6 units. So, wrong. What about this one? 2x plus 2 squared plus 2 y minus 6 squared equals 9. Does it look like it went down? Nope, it didn't. So, our answer is A. Because none of the other ones went down, and none of the other ones, or I mean, this guy went down, but its radius decreased. So, we're done. Okay, next. Okay, so for this first question, it's saying that there's 4,500 cups to start, and then each day you use 70 of them. So how many days will it take for you to get to 1,700? So what you're going to do is you're going to use your quick regression. And we're going to say D is the amount of days. And if each day you lose 70, how many will it take until you have 1,700? So, look, it tells you 40 days. So that's going to be our answer for 1. 2. So it's saying there's a triangle. One of the measures is 63. Which one could be the one of the other one? So here's what you need to know. In the triangle, it has to add up to 180 degrees. Okay? If it's more than 180 degrees, then it's not a triangle. So let's see. Which one of these are more than 180 degrees? 63 plus 116 179. So this one could work. So I'm just going to click it. What about 63 plus 118? It's greater than 180, so it can't be a triangle. And then what about this one? 126, greater than 180. And then this one, greater than 180. So it has to be A. Okay? Next question. So it's saying which one of these tables satisfies this inequality. So we're just going to type out the inequality in Desmos, and then we're going to see, hey, which table is in this area? Actually, I'm going to make it green, because green means good. Green means good. So you want it to be in the green. So let's try A. So it's going to be 2, 19. Oh. 2, 19, 4, 30, and then 6, 41. Is it in the green? Yep, it's in the green. So I already know it's right. But just to make sure, let me just double check. Let's see if B is wrong. 2, 8, 4, 16, 6, 24. Is this in the green? It is not in the green, which means it's wrong. Okay? Next question. So for the next question, it's giving us an equation. So I'm just going to type out the equation. 9 over 7x plus 8 over 7. And it's saying, when does it equal 5? So let's just do this. So let's say f of a, and then we're going to have a slider a. So when does this number equal 5? Let's see. It's going to equal 5 when a is equal to 3. So that's the answer. It's 3. Okay, next question. So for this one, it's saying a plane only goes between 150 and 170. So which one of these satisfies that? So A says that it's less than 20, which is wrong. B means that it's less than 150, which is wrong. C means that it's less than 170, which is right. But D says exactly what the question's asking. So it means it's the better option. So it's D. Next question. So this one is saying that this is the end of November 2012, okay? And then it's saying that as the months pass, it's going to increase in projects and then slowly decrease. So it's saying that in December, it's going to have 7 projects, and then in January, it's going to have 8, and then February, it's going to have 9. But the question's not asking that. The question's asking at the end of November 12, how many projects do they have? And we can just see here, it has 5, correct? So the answer is 5. Okay, so this one, what you need to do is you need to see, hey, which function, when you input 28, it gives you 15. So let's try. So h of x equals negative 2 over 7x plus 23. So does h of 28 give you 15? It does. What about h of 26? Does it give you 22? If it doesn't, then we need to try a different one. And this is wrong. So now let's try B. What's h of 28? 105. That's not 15. So that means it's wrong. What about this one? Oops. Don't do that. So this one is negative 7 over 2x plus 23. So what's h of 28? Is it 15? Nope. What about plus 113? Is h of 28 15? It is. And what about h of 26? Does it equal 22? It does. So click next. Okay, and then now is the next question. So this one is saying, when you plug in the number of cars for C and then the number of passengers for 9, will it equal negative 9? So let's see. 55 times 3 minus 174, does it equal negative 9? Oh, it does. So that's our answer. But let me just show you why the other ones are wrong. Does 55, 3 minus 174 equal 9? Does it equal 9? No, it equals negative 9. So this is wrong. What about 55, 174 minus 3? Does that equal negative 9? No, it doesn't. And the reason why I'm plugging in 174 is because that's the number of passengers. P is for passengers, so yeah. And this is completely wrong, so it has to be A. Okay, next question. So this one, I know it says W, so you might be inclined to write W squared plus 12W minus 40. And you see how it doesn't work in Desmos? What you want to do is you want to just use X instead. Okay. So now it's asking which one is a solution. So as you know, a solution is when it touches the x-axis, or yeah, like it's a root or it's a 0. So which one of these numbers represents one of these two numbers? So let's just copy these two numbers down. So, and let's just pay attention. Do any of these numbers equal this? So this is negative 2.7. Do any of these numbers have negative 2.7? Nope. So this one's wrong. What about 2 square root 19? This one's 8.7. Do any of these numbers have 8.7? Nope. What about square root 19? 4.3. None of these have 4.3. So these two are wrong, so it means it has to be D. Negative 6 plus 2 square root 19. 2.7. So this one matches, which means it has to be D. Okay? Next question. So now we're just going to type in the function 3x over 7 equals negative 5y over 9 plus 21. And now it's asking what's the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is when it touches the y-axis. So it's 37.8 as you see here. Okay? Next. So now it's saying which one demonstrates the linear, these lines. So let's just type them out. Will they look the same? And if the answer is yes, then that's our answer. So this one kind of looks similar. Let's double check though. This one intercepts with what? 6.67, 6.7. Anyway, and this one intersects with 0 and 16. So it means that this one can't be right because these y-intercepts are not the same. 8x minus 4y equals 32. Negative 10x plus 4y equals negative 64. This one has nowhere near the same slope as this one, so it can't be this one either. Now let's plug in C. 4x minus 10y equals 32. Negative 8x plus 10y equals negative 64. So this one also has a positive slope, but this one has a negative slope, and they don't look anything alike. So it can't be this one. Oops. I'm gonna log in. Okay, that means last one has to be right. I don't even feel like trying this, but it's all right. So 6, 4. Okay. I thought it was another number, but next question. So this one is saying, so we're just gonna write it down. Okay, and then you see now it's asking the solution is xy, so what's the value of the x minus 2 times 6? So what's our x value? Our x value is 281.5. So what's 6? 281.5 minus 2. It's 1,677. Wait, 1677? Okay, that's our answer. Okay, and then now for the next one. So we're just going to type in the function. Okay, and then now it's asking what's the minimum value. So the minimum value is the lowest y-coordinate, basically. So what's the lowest y-coordinate? So it's high, and it's getting lower, 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 lower. Stop! 1728 is our answer. So that's the minimum. Okay, and then now for our next question, it's saying how many solutions does this have? So solutions is basically how many times will it touch the x-axis. So negative 49x equals negative 98x. How many times does it touch the x-axis? Only one time, which is at 0, 0, right? Right. Let me just double check. Yep, that boy is not touching it anywhere else. Okay, so the answer is 0. Or, whoa, 1. Lock in, buddy. Okay, next question. Okay, so this one, it looks kind of complicated, but we're just going to write it out first, okay? X minus 2, x plus 6 squared. Okay, now it's saying the value of g of 7 minus w is 0. Okay, so basically it's saying 7 minus a number is equal to a root. So let me just give you an example, okay? Negative 6 is a root. Why? Because it hits 0. It hits the x-axis. Okay, so now it's saying 7 minus w is equal to negative 6, correct? So let's just use some regression. So w is 13 in this case, okay? So that's one possible value of w. What's another time where g of x hits 0? Well, it's at 0. So we're going to do the same thing. 7 minus w, 0. So it's 7. So that's another value of 7. What's the last value of the, what's the last solution? It's 2. So it would be 7 minus w is 2. So why am I writing 2 over here, not 0? Because when the x value is 2, then it's 0. So that's why I'm writing it down. You get it? So now the sum of all the values of w is 5 plus 7 plus 13, which is 25. So that's our answer. Okay, a little tricky. Okay, so the next question. So I'm going to give you some time to read it, and you guys should have 5 seconds. Okay, so it's asking a tree from one of these rows will be selected at random, and now it's saying, given that the tree is 20 feet or taller, so that means 20 feet or taller will be in the denominator. What's the probability of selecting a maple tree? So this is going to be maple tree 20 feet or taller. So now let's just simplify. How many trees are 20 feet or taller? So 8 trees 20 feet or taller, and then each row has 8 trees, birch trees 20 feet or taller. How many rows of birch trees are there? There's 6. So that's 6 times 8. And then remember, there's also maple trees. How many maple trees are 20 feet or taller? There's 9 trees. 9 times 5. And now, how many maple trees 20 feet or taller are there? So there is 9 maple trees 20 feet or taller, correct? And then how many rows? 45. So what is this? How do you simplify this? This should be plus. Oopsies. Okay. So the answer is 15 over 31. Okay. Next question. So this one, you're probably like, yo, Michael, you're absolutely cooked. How are you going to use it for a circle? But then you need to realize this. First, it gives you the area of the rectangle. How do you find the area of a rectangle? It's base times height equals the area. And then in this case, it's equal to 1089 square root 3. Okay? Next, what's some more information it tells you? It says that the diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length, the shortest side of the rectangle. Now, if this doesn't ring any bells, that's okay, but now you know. If you go to the reference sheet, this reminds me of a special right triangle. As you can see, the diagonal is 2, and then the shortest side is x, or is 1, which means the diagonal is twice the size of the shortest side. So now I know it's a 30, 60, 90 right triangle. So now, instead of writing base times height, I can write x times root 3. So let's just do that. X, or I'm just going to use, what can I use instead of x? I'm just going to say x1 square root 3. And then instead of height, I know that there's an imaginary triangle like that. So it's square, or it's a rectangle. So the height is going to be x, okay? Okay. And then now what I can do, I can use a regression. So I can do, instead of using equals, I can go like this. So now I know the height of the rectangle is 33. So does this help me at all? No, it does. Or yes. But no first, because it's asking for the diameter of the circle. So how in the world do we get the diameter of the circle from the smallest side of the rectangle? Well, it tells us that the diagonal of the rectangle is twice the length of the shortest side of the rectangle. So we know that the diagonal, is that how you spell it? Yo, lock in. Equals 66. Why? Because it's twice. And now, how do we relate the diagonal of the rectangle to the diameter of the circle? Well, here's the thing. The diameter is going to equal the diagonal of the circle. I'm going to have an image right here, and you can see what I mean, okay? So the answer for the diameter of the circle is going to be 66, because it's going to be equal to the diagonal of the rectangle, okay? Next question. So these ones are really easy, because anytime you see this, anything with with percentages, you can just use Desmos. So watch. So first I'm going to set up a system of equations, regression on Desmos. So the way you can do that is first put in 2 brackets and then 2 brackets. So what you're basically telling Desmos is that whatever's equal in here is equal to this. So let me just do an example. I can say A is equal to 67. And now it's going to say, yo, Michael, A is 67. And I'm like, thank you. So now, how do we do this for this question? First, we need to know vocabulary. Is another way of saying equal sign. So just remember that. So when it says A equals 2,241% of the sum of the positive numbers b and c. Anytime you see an equal sign, you're going to get out of this bracket and then go to this one. So a is 2,240% of the sum of the positive numbers b and c. So the sum just means them added together, so b plus c. And then now is the interesting part. You're probably like, yo, you said system of equations. I'm only seeing one equation. So how do you add the second equation? So what you have to do is you have to do comma on this side, comma on this side. And then you get to add whatever you want now. I can still write b, or no, whoa. I can write z is equal to 6, 7. And then now you see it says z is 6, 7. You get it now? So that was just an example. What are we actually supposed to write? Well, what's the second equation it gives us? It says b is 83% of c. So we're going to write b is, go to the comma, 83% of c. And then now what you're probably realizing is, yeah, Michael, this is a scam. You can't use Desmos on this one because it's just 0, 0, 0. But what you can do is you can tell Desmos that b and c are positive, because that's what it says. Positive numbers b and c. So you have to be like, yo, Desmos, b is greater than 0. And yo, Desmos, c is greater than 0. Okay? Now, what percent of b is a? So let's just guess and check, bro. I'm too, yeah, 23.24% of b. Is that a? Nope. If a is 44, we need to see which one is equal to 44. What about 49.41%? So this is 0.44, but it's not 44. Okay, so what about 2,324? This is 20. So and then now let's try 4,941. And then this is exactly the answer of A. So it's got to be D. Okay. Next question. So for this one, it's asking for the value of P if there's no solution. So an easy way to do this is just writing 7 over 8y minus 5 over 8x equals 4 over 7 minus 7 over 8y. And then you're just going to write the other equation down. Okay, and then now you're going to add a slider. So this one says it has no solution. So you need to see which one of these makes them not intersect. So you know that if they intersect, that means there's a solution. Okay, I feel like it intersects right there. Okay, they do. So if you just drag the slider and see when do they intersect and when do they not intersect, then you should be good to go. Okay, let me try 3.5. Okay, and then as you can see, they're perfectly parallel. Like they never intersect at all. Even if I zoom in at like 400, they're still parallel. Okay? So that's the answer, 3.5. Next question. So I see a table, so I'm just going to write down a table. Negative 27, 3, negative 9, 0, 21, and 5. And now I'm seeing that g of x is actually f of x over x plus 3. What is f of x? Well, no, they don't tell us. But a simple way we can find this is by saying that y1, so y1 is equal to g of x. So we're basically saying g of x is equal to f of x, or f of x over x plus 3. And right now you see nothing, correct? Which is good, or which is normal, because we have extra information. It says it's a linear function. So the equation of any linear function is always going to be mx plus b. So we're going to type in mx plus b. And then now it should work, right? But we need to realize that Desmos only works with, it doesn't work with the variables. You need constants. So you need to write mx1 and the next one. So now you see, the regression, it works when you have x1 and you're basically saying that, hey, it's not x itself, it's a value x, correct? So now it's asking for the y-intercept of y equals f of x. So you might be thinking, hey, it's just 12, it's right there. But that's not f of x, that's g of x, right? Because y1 is g of x. You're really trying to find f of x, which is mx plus b. So what's m? 4x, and then what's b? 36. So now what's the real y-intercept? So it's this blue line, so what's the y-intercept? It's 36. Okay? Next question. So this question, it's gonna take a minute to do on Desmos, but I'm gonna prove that it's possible. And this is how you're gonna get that 800, okay? So watch. So first, it's saying a circle. So I'm just gonna write down the equation of a circle equals r squared. What's r? You're asking. It's the radius of the circle. So the radius is 168. So we're just gonna write 168. And boom, now we have a nice, good circle. Now it's saying that M and N lie on the circle. So what does this mean? M are like physically on this red line. But here's the thing. It doesn't say that it's here or here, here, here. It could be anywhere. So I'm just going to define it. I'm just going to say that this is where point M lies. And I'm going to say this is where point N lies. Okay? And then this is where point G lies. I mean, we know it's the center. And then I'm going to label it. And I'm going to label this one. And I'm going to label this one. Okay? And then now I want us to visualize this really, really good. Because it's asking us basically to imagine a point H. It doesn't tell you where the H is. It's just saying there's a point H here, so I'll solve for it. So a good way to visualize this is to make a polygon. Polygon M, G, N, H. So right now we don't know where H is, but let me just do some dilly-dally, and let me just assign H to be 500, 500. I know this is wrong. This is completely wrong. It's not at 500, 500, but it's just for me to be able to visualize what the shape looks like, right? Because this is a quadrilateral, so I'm just going to be like, hey, this is what the quadrilateral kind of looks like. It kind of looks like this. Okay, so now we need to find the distance from G to H. Let me label H. Well, how do we find that? So first, let's just find the distance from M to G and N to G. So if you're paying attention, you would realize that these are radiuses, correct? The radius is from the midpoint to the outside of the circle. So these are radiuses. What's the radius? 168. So now we know MG is 168 and NG is 168, right? So what's the perimeter? The perimeter is 168 plus 168 plus x plus another number is 3,856. So what are these two values, and are they the same number? Is what you should be asking yourself. Well, let's see. Are they the same number? Let's calculate. So we're going to do distance M to H. So that's 600. And then we're also going to do the distance from N to H, which is also 600. So now you know that these two values are the same. So now we know that. So let's subtract both sides by 2 times 168. Okay, it's not, you see how I have to zoom out, so I'm just going to use regression so it tells me. So now that I know the distance from M to H and N to H is 1,760. Okay, so is that our answer? No, it's not. Here's the thing. It's not asking for the distance between M and H. It's asking for the distance between G and H. So how do we find that? So what we can do is actually make a triangle. We can realize that we already have this side, and we're trying to find the diagonal. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem. Well, how big is this side? It's 168 according to this, correct? So it's 168 squared. And then we just found out that the distance from M to H is 1,760. And this equals the hypotenuse. So we're going to write H for hypotenuse. And then we're going to use regression. And then it's going to tell us that the distance from G to H is 1,768. Okay? So that's our answer. And now for the last question. It's saying that f of x is defined as f of x, or f of x is defined as a of x squared. Yo, can I lock in? Okay, so for this question, it's saying we have a function f of x, and it's defined as ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? Okay, so for this question, it's saying that f of x is equal to x squared plus bx plus c. Okay? And now it's saying that when x is -7, y is 0. So let's just plug it in. And it also says -3 when x is -3, y is 0. So how do we do this? We're going to use the concept that we learned earlier. We're going to use the system of equations regression. So we're going to say f of 7 is equal to 0. And then we're going to do comma f of -3 is also equal to 0. And we're missing something. Hopefully you remember, because right now the function is kind of useless. And it says a is integer greater than 1. So we need to tell Desmos, yo, a is greater than 1. And then now, boom, it gives us the answer. It's asking for a plus b. So what's a plus b? -6. And that's our answer. Okay? So next, exit out. So now we're all done with module 2. As you can see, we use Desmos for every single question. I hope you guys learned a lot. If this helped you in any way, shape, or form, please subscribe. Again, comment down if you learned something. Oh, also comment down if you ate Chipotle. Do you want to see finish some Chipotle today? Pretty good, huh? Anyway, let's see what we got. Let's go. Okay, so as you can see, you can go back, but every single question we use Desmos in some way, shape, or form. And hopefully you can transfer this energy into your SAT this Saturday, okay? Thank you guys for watching. See you guys.